All right. Here we go. We are live. We're going to give everyone a couple minutes. Hey, friend.
Hey, girl, what's up?
We
What's going
started a little
on?
late. No.
Black people. It's
That's what it
fine.
is. I'm going to try to see if I can also see y'all's chats. So if you guys decide to write something, let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know yet. It's all right. We'll figure it out. Okay. A couple of people are texting me and they said they did not see us. So it's on now. Family life.
I gotta take just one picture of us, friend.
Okay, so I think we can get started.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So what's up, everybody? It's Tanisha. Welcome back to my channel, Tanisha Inspires. You guys know I always talk about mind, body, and soul. This is a little different. This is my first live stream. I am joined by one of my best friends, Arte, which you guys will definitely see in other videos. Arte, just a little bit of a background. I've known her for, I feel like 20 years, maybe 10, 15. She is about to be a lawyer. She has great insight to a lot of things. She's always researching and discussing. And I said, let's just actually do a live stream. Let's try something a little different. And let's just talk about Derrick Jaxn because he is the hot topic of the week. So we are going to talk all things about that. We're going to talk about, just everything around that. We're going to give you all kind of tea, all that fun stuff. So we hear a little bit of background noise.
Sorry, real life stuff. I have a husband and a baby.
Yes.
So that is the background noise that you hear.
Yep.
So Derrick Jaxn, I'm ready. Let's jump in.
Okay, so for those who don't know him, let's go ahead and do a little bit of background. So Arte, you want to talk about who Derrick Jaxn is and all that fun stuff?
Okay, so let's go back about 10 years ago. Okay. So he started a social media presence. And I think so when he was in high school and college, he met a woman that he started dating. They have been together for 12 years, but they got married about 4 years ago. About 9 years ago, he started his social media presence, which was, he's written 2 books in that time. I think he had a game that he did at one point. And basically just has hundreds of thousands of followers on his social media platforms. And I follow him on Instagram, so I've seen many videos and he's been viral many times for the advice that he's given to people over the years. And he's known as a relationship guru, right? So he is supposed to be the go-to. If you are a woman and you are struggling in your relationship, Derrick Jaxn was supposed to have all the answers.
Agreed.
Okay, so he was very hypocritical. I felt like, this is my own personal opinion, right? I felt like he was very hard on women and men, and basically saying, if your man has done any wrong, leave him. If you're a man who's done wrong, you don't love her. You're just a dog. All these type of things. And he's made it part of his social media presence also to make comments about people who are famous, their relationship issues and things like that. So I think that's also helped to kind of elevate his social media presence. So let's talk about this week.
Yes, I love it. I think the other interesting thing is he always claimed to be a Christian, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that is something that we want to talk about because a lot of Christians are upset right? They feel like he's hypocritical. They feel like he's two-faced, like he's putting on a front. He's just trying to make money, and he's not truly this person. The funny thing is, I used to watch his videos probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I stopped. Something in me just said, I just don't. And I stopped listening to his videos. But I remember just at the time being so desperate to like need some type of advice from a man. Like, what does a man think? And, you know, like that was like such a big deal to me, because I think as a lot of women, we just don't understand what men really want, what they really need. So a lot of us went to him assuming that he's the man, he's attractive, he knows exactly what it is, he's going to put us up on game. And I think a lot of people had a lot of strife in their relationships, and they broke up because of what he said. So I don't know if anybody out there listened to him or took his advice. But you know, I broke up a couple times because of him. I'm just being real. So
really,
I did because I was like, oh wow, wait, this guy doesn't do this, or you know, he's not showing me that he really loves me because he's not putting me on a pedestal and all the stuff that he used to preach. So for me, I was like, well, dang, I guess I need to reevaluate my relationship life, right? And you know, I think that a lot of women probably felt the same way, where they probably ended relationships, or they made them, you know, they got questioned to really understand, like, is this the type of person I should be with? Like, is he really putting me on game, or what that looks like? So, yeah, let's talk about the allegations. So let's talk about like what really transpired. And let's talk about like the most recent information that actually popped up like yesterday or the day before. Like, I feel like this is an ongoing story, right? Like at first, I think Sunday or Monday, you know, one thing happened, which you're going to talk about. And then it just, it's like this little web that's starting to unspin. So, yeah, let's talk about the allegations.
Okay. There's a blogger who came out and basically said she had some information on Derrick Jaxn, and she had reached out to him personally, and she wanted him to tell the truth. So Derrick Jaxn decided to record a video and basically say that he was not a Christian up until about a year ago, where he changed his life over. That he did not have sex with the women. Maybe it could be considered a flirtation, you know, but he said it was definitely not on the level of what basically the blogger was trying to say the level it was.
Right.
So she said, you got 24 hours, like, or I'm spilling everything. So he gets back on the next day with his wife. And I mean, obviously now majority of people on the internet have seen Derrick Jaxn and his wife, and this video that they did. He's clutching her hands like this, right? Like he's holding on for dear life.
She looks scared.
Right. And to me, I felt like it was damage control. You brought her on because you knew that you needed to tell the world, hey, this is my wife. She knows everything, and this is what happened. And yes, I did have a sexual relationship, but she knows everything. We've reconciled. I've changed my life over, and this is why we're together. So after that, you know, he basically broke the internet, right? Like he was everywhere. She gets on the very next day and does her live stream by herself, where she talks about how Derrick has made his bed, he laid in it, and the only person he has to answer to is God. And I totally agree with her on that aspect, right? The only person that he has to answer to is God. He don't have to answer to my opinion, your opinion, anybody's.
Right.
But I did feel like she made the video because she felt the need to explain for him and for herself. And I think that's what made the video more sad. So the very next day, she does another live stream by herself. She is in army fatigue for the second time, and she's kind of rambling, right? And she's basically talking scripture. She goes specifically into certain scriptures and how this is war, that this is the devil is out there to destroy her marriage. So then the blogger gets back on and says, I have, Derrick needs to reveal one more truth and, come out with it. So he does it. She releases audio recordings of another mistress that says that she was recording videos in front of his house, and she identifies where the house was. She says she talked to him as late as last week. She released text messages that basically said, don't out me. I mean, that was the gist of the conversation. Like, because the woman said, I didn't even know who you were. I didn't know you had this going on. The woman is a doctor, right? Mm-hmm. So she's saying, how was I supposed to know what this was about?
And didn't she also mention about being pregnant? That didn't...
Oh, yes. Sorry, I missed that part.
It's kind of important.
That she was, yes, very important. So she was pregnant late last year. And she doesn't talk about what happened to the baby, but I'm under the impression that either she miscarried or,
maybe
I don't know what the situation is. She doesn't go into specifics. And it's not important, right? But she was pregnant by him, or at least she alleges that she was. So...
And I think, it's also interesting to note that she said she did not want to be pregnant and that she was not trying. And because she's like, I have my career, I'm a doctor, like, I'm not interested in this. And he begged for her to, like, keep this baby, like, from what I've seen. So that was very interesting, too. So not only have you really been messing around with multiple women at this point, but you were struggling. I think he also mentioned part of his struggle was drugs and alcohol and all this stuff, but he got saved in this February of last year is what he said. Mm-hmm. But it sounded like you got the girl pregnant after February 1st. So part of it is, are you stunning, right? Are you truly this person that you're trying to make out to be? And then as a Christian, what does that look like for other Christians, right? So not to cut you off, I just want to call out some of those things that are important.
No. I'm glad you interjected because I don't want to miss parts of the story, right? This is a story, a drama. So, I mean, to be completely honest with you, I think that, and even the woman said on the audio recording, she said that he did push for her to keep the baby, but she felt like that was kind of, she didn't really specifically say, but kind of like, I don't think he really wanted the baby, but his agenda was kind of like not to be the bad guy to tell her to do something or to terminate the pregnancy. Because, I mean, the woman who alleges this on the audio recording says she didn't hear him talk about Christianity. She said all she heard him talk about was money
and investing
things. So I won't speak on the man's character because I don't really know him. But what I see, what I feel is coming off of him is, this is what I can say to make money. I need a unique aspect. And even if it's not the way I'm living my real life, this is what I want to portray to other people. And so stunning, absolutely. I do. I think he's stunning. And I think that the only reason he's doing this little I'm sorry campaign tour is because he's scared to lose his father.
He built. Absolutely. He built an empire at this point. I think his wife talks about them having a mansion and she walked away from the mansion. For her, she was like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about any of that stuff, and I think that, number one, I think it's also important that he was a football player, and not to stereotype, but a lot of football players are cheaters. I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying all athletes. I'm not saying all that, but what she did definitely.
Go ahead. I just think that a lot of people think that athletes are cheaters, but I think that what people don't think about when they're trying to analyze what's going on with the athlete is, okay, my husband's a regular guy. He may get a DM or two, I don't know, once a month, once a year, twice a year. If you are an athlete, and that starts in college, that starts in high school, these girls are popping holes in condoms, trying to get you pregnant, trying to get pregnant by you, trying to get money from you. Oh, he's about to go to the NFL. I need to stick with him. And so I think that, and I think this is what has been an issue with Derrick Jaxn also. I don't think he could handle the amount of groupies and the amount of love and the amount of, basically people just trying to get a bit of your shine. And that's why his wife was perfect, because she didn't want any of that shine. She didn't want to be in the spotlight. For her, she has a goal and she wants to be a good Christian. And that's what's most important to her. And she feels like her marriage is a big part of that. So I don't want to say all athletes are cheaters, because I don't think that's true. What I think is a better way to say it is that athletes do not know how to deal with the amount of
fame. That's fair.
I mean, really, it's just hard. I've never been admired like that on that level, so I don't know what it feels like. Right. Me neither. So I don't know what it feels like, but I could just imagine it's already hard for men to resist temptation. And then when you get that famous, the level, I mean, you probably got women in your DMs every 5 minutes. Like, yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but continue.
No, you're good. So I think basically with these allegations, we hear about these women that have come forth. I'm sure there's several more, right? Let's just keep it real. I'm sure there's quite a few that are probably going to come out over the next couple weeks or months, or they're going to demand money from him, right? So, which probably has already happened. Let's just keep it real. And how do you think this has or will change how he is on social media? The other interesting thing, before you actually answer that, he did another video where he was going through the comments. Like, I think he's very interested in what people are saying. Obviously, for Facebook and all of these platforms, you make money based on the number of people that are commenting and all of that stuff. And one of the things that a guy said is, oh, I want you to do a video on yourself. So a lot of the videos he did, he always tries to look at like a man's perspective, or he tries to like watch a video and he kind of does let me do a reflection. So he did a reflection on his own self, and he talked about himself in third party, which was so strange to me. So not only do you have these videos of you and your wife and, you're trying to clear all the air, but then you do a video on yourself. It wasn't genuine. And when he was talking in that video, he basically was like, yeah, this dude, I would give him a pass. And it's just like,
of course.
And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is acting at its finest. At first, I think a lot of women felt like, especially Christian women, are like, okay, men make mistakes, people make mistakes, we're going to forgive, we're going to move on. The wife forgave him, right? That's their business. And now you do this video in third party because you're making money off of this. So I guess going back to that question, like, how do you feel about how this has or could change his platform now? Do you think people are still going to follow him? Do you think he's grown and and he's been promoting his book? Every video except the last one, he's been promoting this book on how to heal in your marriage.
Like crazy.
How to heal.
Funny story. Some people think that all press is good press, right? Whether it's negative, whether it's positive. And people like a villain. People like
they love drama.
People who are just, I think that this will make him so much more relatable to a lot of people. And so I honestly do not feel like he destroyed his brand. I don't feel like women are just like, I'm logging off because this is just so ridiculous. Like, I feel like now he has even more people trying to tune in because they're like, oh my God, his life, crazy. Like,
people love drama.
Like, it's just like a soap opera for so many people. And I'm glad you brought this up because we haven't talked about the wife much.
Yep, I wanted to bring her up as well.
Right, and I just wanted to make a comment that, for her, I'm sure it does not feel like it's not fun for her to be in the middle of a soap opera. Like, it's not fun for her to be in the middle of a drama. She doesn't like attention, and it's very clear. And, she's kind of a victim in the situation, as sad as it is to say that. Like, she has been victimized, and he understands the victimization because he's told people in other videos that if a man treats you like this, he's victimizing you. So, you know, that's the even more sad part. People are tearing apart her appearance, what she wore. Like,
let's talk about that. So let's talk about that. I think that a lot of Black people, and maybe other races too, right, have really criticized her wearing a bonnet and her not putting on makeup. Everyone's just like, sis, like if you're gonna be in this limelight, you need to come correct. You need to show that you got this. This is your castle. To me, I think it shows that she is more secure with who she is by not dressing up. Because I think sometimes I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to look a certain way. They got to put on makeup. They got to have their hair on point. They got to be to the 9, to the 10s, 24/7. And if they feel like they have to have their natural hair out, oh God, I can't do anything. I have to just, you know. So what are your thoughts on how she dressed and how the community has embraced that? Because I've seen ridicule. I've seen very harsh videos and pictures.
These people have been going ham on her. Okay. And honestly, like, first of all, it wasn't a bonnet. It was a beret. And I'm not going to lie. Before we did this video, obviously I went to her Instagram. I wanted to see. So, I mean, she's a maybe she wasn't a low-key person, but there has definitely been a push, at least on her social media within the last year, for her Christianity. And that is what she is more focused on than anything else. So yes, she is very low-key based on what she's put on her social media in the past year. I think that as Black people, we always feel like we have something to prove. So we feel like you always gotta come correct. But this is my issue with how she. He knows exactly how people on social media are and what they're going to say to you and how they're going to respond. Why would he, as your partner, who's supposed to love you and keep you from being ridiculed, why wouldn't he say anything to you about how you were dressed and how you should be on camera? I don't have makeup on right now, and I've never been big into makeup, but I wear it from time to time. But if I had 100,000 followers, yeah, I probably would feel that pressure more to put makeup on or appear a certain way. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, that pulls people in, that attracts people. So I think that people have been going a little too hard on her. That was where I was trying to get to. I think that people have been going too hard on her, but I think the reasons that they have been going hard on her, like, everybody should understand them. Like, everybody should understand why they're going that hard.
So I think the interesting thing is, in the video that he did with her, one of the first things he did is he pulled at her beret or whatever it's called, and he's like, "Oh, you're wearing this." So I think he was at the point where he's like, I'm going to let her do what she feels comfortable doing. I've already messed up everything. I've exposed our jacked up marriage, right? I've exposed everything. I'm this victim, and I'm going to let her do her. That's why he
maybe he was faking for the camera. Maybe he was faking for the camera. Maybe he wanted people to feel like I love her. This is my wife, and I'm like adjusting her beret. When really at the end of the day, he might have been looking at her like, dang, did she really wear this? Like, I don't know. It just seems so like kind of fake and phony, especially on his part to me. On her part, I understand. I'm just in my living room. I'm relaxed. I'm chilling. But on his part, I was really frustrated because I was just like, you know exactly what's going to happen with this video. And I just felt like it was just very, very fake. And like I said, it just made me feel more sad for her because, you know, it's hard to deal with cheating. And then to have this be your life and then be in public, that's even harder. And then to be ridiculed for your appearance when she's basically said on her social media that she's dealt with self-esteem issues, that she's dealt with rape, she's dealt with issues of possibly, you know, suicide, like thoughts of killing herself in the past. That has to be so difficult. You know, and it's like, you don't want to front, you don't want to be fake for the camera, but you also don't want to be torn apart by thousands of people either, you know? So
do you think it was her idea to come out with the video? I think one of the things he also said is he wasn't going to address it, and that this was her idea because she basically said, you know, we're going to have to talk about this. Do you really think it was something that she initiated, or do you think it was more him kind of playing the puppet? Like, I've seen some memes where he's kind of doing a puppet and she's just kind of like doing whatever he's saying. Like, what do you think about that?
You know, I'm not a body language expert. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever. But, you know, there's a lot of people on social media that said that their body language looks like abusers, like an abuser, and how they relate to the person they're being abused by. I can't speak on that. I don't really know. But I will say neither one of them looked very comfortable up there, sitting there, clutching hands like this. Like, you know, they just didn't look very comfortable. And it's probably not comfortable to reveal your life on camera.
A whole lie, right? Everything that you stood for.
It's not comfortable, but I can't honestly say that as low-key as she is, that she would push that. It just doesn't seem like something that she would push, because she's basically said on every video she doesn't have anything to prove. She has no reason to come out and say anything. That is his bed, that he made the mistake and he has to lie in it, you know? And, you know, as a woman, when you have kids, that makes it even harder. You don't want to leave. You don't want to destroy what you feel like God has ordained for you as a marriage. Like, that's really, really hard. And, you know, Derrick used to tell people in the past, oh, if he's cheating on you, leave him. I can't honestly say that I would leave my husband if that happened. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. And I don't think that people should crucify her because she's staying just because Derrick would have told her not to stay.
I just think it was interesting that she decided to make a separate video by herself to address more things. To me, it made it seem like she needed to get off what was on her heart. I think she also was trying to take this opportunity to share Jesus. And I do believe that as Christians, I think it's very hard to be in the world because we're supposed to be in the world, but not of the world. And so as Christians, I think that's why there's a lot of criticism and there's a lot of expectations about how you should act, how you should be. And I think what a lot of people forget is that we all have sin and we all fall short of the glory. And so just because somebody sins differently than you, just because you're seeing it in a marriage versus you sin in your thoughts and wanting to kill people every 2 seconds, it's all the same thing. So I do feel like, you know, throwing the word Christian around is a hot topic. And, you know, I guess, what are your thoughts around that? Like, when you see her really talk about Jesus and like really trying to push that message, and he's trying to talk about it too. Is it a genuine thing? Is it a, you know, as a Christian, should you be a certain way? What do you think?
For her, absolutely. And I don't think for her it's just a hot topic like it's the new thing of the week. Like I said, if you look at her social media going back at least a year, like, she's not posting pictures of herself. She's posting relevant things that's speaking to her from the Bible. And even when I see her video, I feel the genuineness off of her. She truly believes everything that she's saying. And I think it's really hard to live a Christian life knowing you have sin, and then also in a Christian marriage trying to deal with somebody else's sin that has brought you pain and hurt and all these other things. What I think for him, I think he's just scared of losing support. So that's why he's pushing the Christian agenda. And even in his first video, which he's now taken down, by the way, he says that he basically was not really into a Christian life until this happened. And then that was when his wife saw the change and decided that they could be back together. But I'm like, were you pandering because you knew your wife was really truly living this life and you wanted your wife and your family back? I mean, she left you from what she says. Okay, you were in a mansion and she left. So, I mean, you contacted women allegedly last week.
That's
like, don't say anything to the media.
That's the struggle, because if she's saying she sees a change in him and that he's this new person, but now you have this other woman pop up as of last week, are you seeing that change? Or are you wanting in your mind, you're hoping and you're just praying that you can just make it through? At what point, let's talk about forgiveness real quick.
Okay.
Would you, in that situation, would you forgive him? Would you leave him if you've seen, if all the allegations are true, after he became this Christian man in February and all of the struggles that they had, right, last year, and if this new woman is truly another one who had a baby or, whatever happened to the baby, would you be able to forgive in that situation? At what point would you just say, I'm done?
You're engaged to be married. You've been with your partner for a long time. I've been married for 7 years now. And I can honestly say that I think you probably agree with me on this, that I truly don't know. There's a lot of memes that have been coming out. Do you watch Married at First Sight?
I did. I watched one episode.
The newest season.
No.
Okay, so there is a woman on there named Paige who is living a Christian lifestyle. And she found out right after she married her husband, Chris, that he had a baby on the way, and she's 6 weeks pregnant. So she was like, I'm just going to stick it out. Like, I feel like God was telling me, like, this is who I'm supposed to be with, and I'm just going to try to push through and stick it out. And she just met this man, like not even a week in. So sometimes, and I'm a Christian, I believe in God, and God has blessed me, okay? But at what point are you so blind? And I think that's what frustrates me, when they're like, okay, where is the line? Because from what, I've been told, I'm not heavy into the Bible. We talk about that a lot. But from what people have told me about the Bible, God doesn't want you to cheat on your spouse.
That is actually the only reason you can divorce.
Right. And that is the only reason that you can divorce. So why do Christian women still feel the need to push through and be basically abused by men who continue to cheat on them and say they're Christians, but they're not living a Christian lifestyle? And that's really the sad part about it to me. Don't use Christianity as your reason to push through when there are some moments where you just deserve better, like you just deserve better. And I'm not saying she should leave, because I don't know what her situation is.
Right.
I really don't know. But maybe she hasn't fully thought through whether or not she should really stay. I can't say that either. Again, I'm one of these people. This is just my opinion.
Absolutely.
Right?
I do feel like, though, she has asked God why, right? Or for God to reveal a sign. And I think sometimes God has to slap you in the face, got to really show you, knock you all the way down. When you're like, but really, God, is that you? And he goes like this, and you're like, but are you sure that's you? He goes like this, right? And then you're like, but I don't know. And then he humbles you. And I think this situation has truly shown who this person is that she's married to. And, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I've always felt like that. I believe that she will make the ultimate decision that's best for her and her family. And none of us can make that decision. But I do believe that we should always forgive. I think that's something that is in the Bible. And I believe that's something that no matter how tough or how crazy it is, we have to forgive. And so I wanted to just see if you would even be able to forgive in that situation when someone is.
But could you forgive and not stay, or do you feel like that's possible?
So when you forgive somebody, it doesn't mean that you have to be best friends. It doesn't mean that it's reconciled. I think there are differences where you can forgive someone, but you do not have to continue to participate with that, right? And so in that situation, especially if there's multiple women, it's one thing, it's one woman, and you guys are going through this journey, but then you see other women that are popping up, and then you see text messages as late as last week. At some point, you have to say, this person is not the person I thought they were, right? And, sometimes we do have to let things go. And, at several occasions with my relationship, I've had to let go. But when we came back together, because it was what God wanted at the end of the day, we came back stronger. Do we have struggles, all that other stuff? Absolutely. But I think that's where boundaries come into play, which we're going to have a whole nother topic on boundaries, because boundaries is something that I think a lot of us struggle with. And I think that's why there's a lot of unhappy people in the world, because they do not create those boundaries. So that's going to be a separate topic.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a lot. But, and I know I want to check the comments and see if anybody wrote anything. Let's see. So it looks like Nia, she asked, I want to know why she still went along with him when she knew he was married. Why did she not use birth control? So I think she's talking about the other woman that got pregnant. So what do you
want to speak on that, friend?
No, I was going to let you speak on it.
Because she said she was 32, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she probably is at a point in her life where she feels comfortable with her sexuality, comfortable with her body, comfortable with herself. And, when you start getting up there in age, I won't say up there because I'm over 32, but when you start getting a little older, I think it's easier to be a little free. And, some people, being with a married man is not a big deal for them. And they're just like, he wanted me. He wanted to be with me over his wife. So who cares,
But did she know he was? I don't think she knew anything about him. I think she said that.
She didn't. But
right.
Some women, they still know when they choose to.
That's true.
But she didn't know. And she had this relationship. And then I think she found out later, which is the worst. I think it's having. But about boundaries, like some women don't have boundaries. They don't care. Like, they're like, it is what it is. I'm cool. Like, as long as the wife don't show up at my house, we okay. Like, so, I mean, that's the sad part about it. But, and then, there are men out there like Derrick who are telling women stories. They're been married for 15 years, and they're telling women, oh, I'm single. I ain't never been married. And in a situation like that, if he truly was separated from his wife, how would she know? So,
the lies that men say, I think that's a whole nother topic too, right?
Lies, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're going to do a lot of these live streams just to talk about different topics, y'all, like just to get real, just to get nitty gritty, and just talk about what's going on in the world and how we feel about it. Is there any last things you want to say? I think we're going to end our first ever live stream. Anything else?
No, I've enjoyed talking to you. For all the viewers, which I don't know how many we have today, but these are our regular conversations, and this is why we have been friends since we were 18 years old. I won't even admit how long that's been. But we've been friends for a very long time because we could just be real with each other and just talk and, express ourselves in a safe space, woman to woman. So I appreciate you, my friends.
I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, this is very different for me. Typically, I just have videos that run every week, but I wanted to do something a little different. So thank you for pushing me. You guys, I was really tired. I was actually not about to do this. So she was just like, no, we're going to do this and we're going to advertise. I'm like, well, dang, if it's advertised, I guess we really got to do this. So definitely appreciate you just talking about how you feel about certain topics and, your experience. And like I said, if there's other things that you guys want to hear, whether you want to talk about relationships or just fun stuff or politics or, whatever it is, comment down below so we can actually see it and we will hopefully feature in one of our future videos. So I think we are going to try to do this weekly, maybe on Fridays. Don't hold us to it, but that is going to be kind of our goal, is just to talk with you guys, and we'll answer your questions in the chat. So feel free to always send questions. I'm going to check the chat one last time before we end. Hello, looks like we got somebody on from Germany. Hello, thank you for joining. I don't know how long ago, but thanks for joining. Does anyone have any questions? Hey, Charlena. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. This was awesome. Do you guys have any questions, anything, any topics you guys want to talk about for future videos? You guys just comment down below. Comment down below. Comment, comment, comment. Doing well. I hope you're doing well. Any questions for Arte? She is going to be a future lawyer, so if you guys need any legal advice, we may talk about that.
Are not free. No advertising.
We're gonna try to get her some free advice, y'all. So if y'all have different things there too, I think that'll be cool too. So
I will have my JD in May, and then you can all pay me for my legal services when that time comes. No, but I love to express my opinion, so we can talk it out.
Yes, y'all let us know. All right, well, we are going to end this. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. We'll see you hopefully next week. Bye, everyone.